Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy, and today's video is going to be an update on the used car market. Before we get into this video, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. So the big news for today's video is that used cars did in fact decline in price last month yet again. The decline was 2.7%. Now this is on the wholesale front, not on the retail front. We'll talk about retail prices in just a moment, but let's quickly dive into the auction data, and this comes from Cox Automotive. So the average difference in price relative to current MMR values is 98.7%, which means that most cars at auction are selling for slightly under what they are considered to be valued at. And that's why, again, we are seeing these decreases in wholesale prices. Now, on top of that, the sales conversion rate at auction right now, 56.3%, which is slightly lower compared to what we normally see at this time of year, which again shows an overall softening in the used car market. But something to note on this whole auction side of things is that Cox Automotive states that they think that the declines that we've seen so far are actually going to slow down because of the lack of supply that we're seeing within the used car world. And I've talked about this over the course of several videos where there's just not a lot of used cars available currently. Now, if we dive into individual segments, then we'll be able to see kind of some of the price declines that have happened. So compact cars year over year are down 7.2%. Luxury cars are still down by the largest margin, 10.8%. Mid-size cars, 7.9%. Pickup trucks, 4.6%. CUVs, SUVs, 8%. Vans, 7.5%. And then the total average is 7.6%. And so we are basically finally seeing year-over-year declines with every single segment, which obviously is important because you have to remember that used car prices are still at all-time highs. Even though things have gone down a little bit, used cars are way more expensive today than what they were prior to the pandemic. I mean, you look at the graph of used car prices, and literally it's just exponential, and then it went down, and then it went up, and now it's like down just a little bit. And so this will kind of lead us into talking about things on the retail front for a bit. So when it comes to retail sales, they have been softening with the used car market, and that is going to continue into the future. And the biggest driving force with decreasing these retail sales is the fact that there's just not a lot of used cars available on the market. And so it's kind of like this positive feedback loop where there are fewer people purchasing used cars because there are fewer used cars available, which means that there's going to be even fewer used cars available because there are fewer people trading in their cars. You know, kind of all adds up together. But again, this is why Cox Automotive states that they think that used car declines are going to slow down towards the end of the year because the supply is so tight. So let's quickly talk about what this means for the overall car market moving forward. I think that this is just going to be a continuation of the trend where there's going to be more people looking to buy new instead of used because of, one, used prices being so high, the bigger discounts we're seeing on new cars, and the biggest thing, the lack of availability when it comes to used cars. There's just not a lot of options. I mean, you look at the used car market prior to the pandemic, and in a lot of cases, you could actually be relatively picky. You could say, I want this car with this model year in this color, whereas today it's like you just got to be like okay with having this car. You can't really choose the model year, you can't really choose the color because again there's not a lot of options. But on the new car market there are those options, and so as this shift continues, I think that it's obviously going to cause these used car prices to continue to decline, but at the same time with the lack of supply they can only go down so far. And so it's going to be an interesting situation to see how it unfolds, but I think that slow, steady decline is probably going to be the continued trajectory of the used car market moving forward. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen. I'll see you.